Imagine waking up in your dream barn dominium home, built on affordable land that you own, surrounded by nature, completely off grid, and in control of your water and your power. Well, today we're going to discuss the 10 best states for off grid living. Make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to share some critical tips that help you avoid costly mistakes and help you make the most of your off grid journey. For those who may not know, off grid living means living without relying on municipal utilities like electricity, water, and sewage systems. Usually it involves producing your own power, solar, wind, hydro, etc., managing waste, and having an independent water supply. The first state on the list is Texas. Texas offers many affordable parcels of land throughout the state, and the zoning laws throughout the entire state are usually pretty favorable. Some of the rural areas have very little zoning regulation. There are over 50,000 plots of land for sale in Texas as of the recording of this video. Rainwater collection is legal in the state, and depending on where in the state you decide to go, your annual rainfall will be anywhere from 20 to 50 inches. So it's something to keep in mind because obviously in a situation like off-grid living, water is very important. Other water sources include the Colorado River, Rio Grande, and the Brazos River. Texas gets over 230 days of sunlight per year, which is great for solar energy. And the state has a number of incentives for solar energy. Would you consider living off-grid in Texas? Let me know in the comments. If you're looking for a state with an established off-grid community, the next state is for you. The next state is North Carolina. North Carolina has a ton of land available, especially in the rural areas. And as of the recording of this video, there are over 15,000 plots of land for sale in North Carolina. Rainwater collection is legal. However, there are numerous regulations. One of them is that a permit is required to construct, install, alter, or repair any non-potable water system, including rainwater harvesting system. So something to keep in mind. Other sources of water include the Cape Fear River, the Neuse River, and the PD River. There's also the Jordan Lake. Overall, there are many freshwater options in the state. North Carolina averages about 210 days of sunlight per year, and the state has a number of grants and tax incentives for solar energy. Earth Haven Eco Village is a community near Asheville that is self-sustaining. They offer rooms for rent if you actually want to test out what this lifestyle will be like. So I think that's really cool. If you love the outdoors and easy access to multiple other states, the next state is for you. The next state is Missouri. Missouri has large parcels of land, especially in the rural areas and the Ozarks. There are over 8,000 parcels of land for sale in Missouri as of the recording of this video. Rainwater collection is legal in the state. Overall, it gets anywhere between 40 and 50 inches of rain per year. Other water sources are the Missouri River, the Mississippi River, and various other lakes and springs. Missouri gets about 200 days of sunlight per year. The state has a variety of credits and tax incentives for solar energy. Dancing Rapid Eco Village is a well-known sustainable living community in northeastern Missouri, and they have properties available for rent if you want to test out this lifestyle, and they even have some for sale. If you're looking for a state with diverse terrains and mountains, the next one is for you. The next state is Tennessee. The state offers affordable land, especially in the rural areas. Land tends to be more available in the eastern and central parts of the state. There are over 13,000 parcels of land for sale in Tennessee as of the recording of this video. The rural areas also tend to have more relaxed zoning laws, which is great. Rainwater collection is legal, and in my research, it turns out the state actually strongly encourages it. The annual rainfall in Tennessee is about 50 inches per year. Other water sources include the Tennessee River, the Cumberland River, and many other lakes and springs. Tennessee gets about 200 days of sunlight per year. The state has several tax credits and property tax exemptions for solar energy. If you prefer a state with established off-grid developments and sustainable eco-villages, the next state is for you. Next is Oregon, specifically Western Oregon. Many prefer Western Oregon for off-grid living because of the amount of rainfall it gets, its climate, and its long growing season. There's land available in the rural areas, and as of the recording of this video, there are 4,600 plots of land for sale in Oregon. Rainwater collection is legal, however, there are some restrictions. So you can only collect rainwater from your roof, not from the ground or other water resources on your property. Some areas in Western Oregon can get up to 80 inches of rain per year. Other water sources include the Columbia River, the Rogue River, and many other lakes throughout the state. Some parts of Western Oregon get up to 300 days of sunshine per year, and there's a rebate program the state has for solar energy. If you prefer to be in a state with access to many rivers and streams, the next state is for you. But first, I need you to hit that subscribe and like button. If you want to get better at real estate investing, you have to follow this channel. The next state is Kentucky. Let me know in the comments, do you like KFC or do you prefer Popeyes? Me, I'm a Popeyes guy. Kentucky has a ton of land available in the rural areas. There are over 5,000 parcels of land for sale in Kentucky as of the recording of this video. Many rural areas have relaxed zoning laws. Rainwater collection is legal and the state gets about 45 to 50 inches per year of rain. Other sources of water are the Ohio River, Kentucky River, and many other smaller rivers and streams. Kentucky averages about 200 days of sunlight per year, and the state has a number of tax credits, incentives, etc. for solar energy. If you prefer to be in the South and you enjoy hot summers and mild winters, the next state is for you. Out of all the states that we talk about today, let me know in the comments, which of these states would you be open to living off grid in? The next state is Georgia. The state has a lot of available land in rural areas. As of the recording of this video, there are over 12,000 parcels of land for sale in Georgia. Rainwater collection is legal and the state gets about 45 to 50 inches of rain per year. Other water sources are the Savannah River, the Chattahoochee River, and various lakes and aquifers. Georgia averages about 220 days of sunlight per year. Now, Georgia doesn't offer any rebates or incentive on the state or local level. However, there are federal tax credit programs that you can take advantage of for solar energy. Now, if you're looking for a state with coastal plains, Appalachian foothills, and river valleys throughout the state, the next one is for you. As a reminder, make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to share critical information that you must know if you want to look into off-grid living. The next state is Alabama. There's a lot of land available in Alabama, especially in central Alabama. In those areas, the zoning laws tend to be fairly relaxed. As of the recording of this video, there are over 10,000 parcels of land for sale in Alabama. Rainwater collection is legal, and in my research, the state actually encourages it. Alabama averages about 56 inches of rain per year. Other sources of water include the Alabama River, the Tennessee River, and many other lakes and springs. Alabama averages about 230 days of sunlight per year. They offer a number of tax credits, property tax incentives, and grants for solar energy, which is great. If you prefer a state with many independent homesteads and small communities, the next state is for you. The next state is Arkansas. There are a lot of rural areas with affordable land in the state, and the zoning laws in those areas are pretty good. There are over 9,500 parcels of land for sale in Arkansas as of the recording of this video. Rainwater collection is legal. However, when I was doing my research, there are a number of restrictions, so make sure that you take a look into those and definitely keep those in mind. Arkansas averages about 50 inches of rain per year. Other sources of water include the Arkansas River, the Mississippi River, and numerous lakes and streams. Arkansas averages about 200 days of sunlight per year. There are no state or local incentives for solar, but there are federal tax credit programs that you could take advantage of. If you prefer a colder climate and you prefer to be around fewer people, then the next state is for you. Next is Indiana, specifically Southern Indiana. Many consider Southern Indiana to be preferable for off-grid living versus the rest of the state because of the amount of rain it gets every year, its natural resources, and proximity to other places. There's land available in the rural areas, and as of the recording of this video, there are almost 5,000 parcels of land for sale in Indiana. And in the rural areas, the zoning laws are pretty relaxed. Rainwater collection is legal in the state, and Southern Indiana gets about 50 inches of rain per year. Other water sources include the Ohio River, the Wabash River, and many other lakes and streams. Indiana gets about 200 days of sunlight per year and has a variety of incentives for solar power. So here are some things to keep in mind if you are considering off-grid living. First is your power source. You're definitely going to need some source of power. So things to keep in mind: solar, wind, hydroelectric, generators, and how you can implement these things. So you have to do your research on that. The next is a water source. So you want to look into rainwater harvesting. We talked about some of the restrictions and things of the various states. So that's something that you want to do your homework on ahead of time. You want to make sure you understand how you can have a sustainable supply of water. Also, waste management is something that is very important. And, it's not really something that we have to think about for those of us who don't live off grid. But when you're off grid, it's very, very important for obvious reasons. So composting toilets, septic systems, and other off-grid waste solutions are things you should do your research on. Next is food production. Do you want to grow your own food? Do you want to have livestock and grow vegetables and things of that nature? And if you do, is there land suitable to do that? And do you know what to do with it? Or is there someone who can help in that area or in a community so that you can eventually be self-sustaining? It's something that you need to think about, because in many cases, if you're off grid, you might be very far from cities and stores and stuff like that, depending on where you decide to go. So you need to consider that ahead of time. Food preservation is also something that you want to think about. Is canning something you want to do? Is dry food something that you want to learn how to do? Something to think about. You want to think about your heating and your cooling. Do you want to use a wood stove, propane heaters, other alternative heating or cooling solutions? These are all things that you should think about and do your research on. Internet and communication, right? Will you be able to get internet where you are, cell phone service where you are? You want to look into how those things work and if it's possible to get connected to those things so you can still access the outside world, if you will. We've talked about zoning laws throughout this video and many other videos. It's something you want to be crystal clear on before you spend any money and make any decisions. You want to understand the zoning laws and regulations in the area where you're interested in living off grid. The climate. We talked about the climate throughout this video of the various states, and that's something you need to consider. Do you want to be somewhere that has the 4 seasons? Do you want to be somewhere that has a pretty consistent climate? Do you want to be near snow or in snow or away from that? These are all things you need to consider, and it's going to impact what exactly you do, what you buy, how much money you spend, all those things. So the climate is a very important consideration. Also, if you are someone who is looking to live off the land, grow crops, livestock, and everything, the weather is 100% going to impact your decisions in those areas. So do not go into it blindly. Strongly consider the climate. Accessibility. So will you have access to grocery stores, hospitals, schools? These are all things that you want to consider. In some cases, maybe you have access to those things within a reasonable distance. In other cases, you could be 3, 4, 5 hours away from any of that stuff. So it's something that you definitely need to make sure that you think about. Money. You need money. You cannot do this for free, okay? So you need to buy land. You might want to build on it. You might want to build a tiny home. You might go there with the RV. It's really up to you. There's endless options for what kind of structure you can actually live in, right? But you're going to need money to purchase the land, to build or put whatever you want to put on the land on it. So don't think you can just pack a suitcase and show up somewhere, right? You have to consider what kind of place you want to live in. Something else is community. Do you want to be part of an established community like the ones we've mentioned before? Or do you want to be completely isolated with no one else around you for miles and miles? That's something to consider, because some of us just don't like being around many people, and others, we thrive when we're in community. And I can see how community can be valuable with something like off-grid living. Natural disasters. You want to be careful of areas that experience a lot of natural disasters, especially when you could potentially be isolated. So along with the climate, that's something to consider as well. So overall, my suggestion is to start small. Test it out. You don't have to go all in. Explore, research, test the waters. If you find somewhere where you might consider living off grid, maybe there are places to rent there. Maybe you can go out and talk to the people, right? You don't have to go all in after watching this video. This is something that you should take your time with and be very deliberate with how you plan and prepare if it's something that you want to consider. You might also decide that you don't want to do it full time. You want to have a place where you can go on the weekends or go on vacations and kind of get away a little bit. That might be what you decide to do. But the point I really want to drive home is to do your research and as much due diligence as you can. You should look at blogs, look at Facebook groups, look at other videos, look at videos of people who are actually living off grid so you can gather their experience. Maybe you can even contact them. The point I want to drive home is to research, research, and research if this is something that you might want to do. So let me know in the comments, out of all the states we've talked about today, are there any where you would consider living off grid? Or would you consider living off grid at all? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. All right, so you always see me wearing these shirts in the videos. And if you didn't know, now you know, they are for sale. You can actually buy these shirts. To celebrate the growth of the channel, every single shirt is 50% off. You can get the shirts for $15 instead of 30. There's limited inventory, so I strongly encourage you to take advantage of the sale. So you can get one of these shirts, or you can get one of these shirts, and there's no limit to the number of shirts you can get. I appreciate you all so much from the bottom of my heart. The growth of this channel would not be possible without you watching, without you liking, commenting, etc. And the shirts are good quality. It's 100% cotton. It's something that's going to last and not wear out over time like a lot of the fast fashion out here. So if that's something you're interested in supporting, go to the pinned comment of this video and you'll get the link. You can go directly to the store and you can get anything you want. Now that you know about where to live off grid, I want you to learn about the cheapest states to buy land. Check out this video right here.